Hello, this is Randy Hoyle with news from the year 3045, a special year 3045 brought to you by Tachyon Technology, faster than the speed of light. And our sponsor is Cosmos Harmony. Remember, you can find your true love in the galaxy of Cosmos Harmony. Welcome, Cybernauts, to a wonderful world of the future, although recently it hasn't been so wonderful. And people in the year 2012 in July. I'm speaking, of course, about the Aurora Batman movie murders. It was a terrible thing. And I'm afraid between now and December 21st, or throughout this year, there may be an increase of this sort of thing, not only in the United States but worldwide. There's so many things going on in the United States today. It's an election year, and tempers get high during election years. The economy is bad for many people. Many people are hurting. That puts stress on people, and when you put stress on people, unusual things happen. And then there's the Nibiru and the Mayan calendar prophecies that are going around that the world's going to be destroyed, or we're going to be invaded by aliens, or the moon's going to be hit by a planet, or the earth's going to be hit by a planet, or some terrible thing's going to happen in December 21st. Just a lot of stress. There is what I call a wacko factor going on because of the comments I have received. I've had people tell me there will be no future, that the world's coming to an end, that they have no future. I've had people tell me in their comments that they're going to make people believe. Years ago, it might have been 1997, there was an event called the HOYLE UFO suicides, or the HOYLE comet suicides. HOYLE is spelled H-A-L-E B-O-P-P, HOYLE. H-A-L-E, one word, B-O-P-P, one second word. And there was a comet that came within viewing range of the Earth. And there was a group of people that believed, because of a man had a vision, that they were going to beam up, if they killed themselves, they would beam up to a UFO or a spaceship that was following the comet. And they did it. There was more, like 30 of them committed suicide. There have always been people who are capable of hurting themselves and hurting others. And now, in this time of stress, great stress from all over, it's coming from all over, people are going to do bad things. And I'm afraid between now and December, right up to the end of the year, there might be some very bad things happen. And I'm going to ask you to do this. On December 21st, I'm staying the hell home. I've got some extra food in the house, and it always pays to have extra food in the house. And water, have some water bottled up. I've got water bottled up. Things that I need. I've got extra medicine that I need put aside. Excuse me. But I'm going to try to live my life from here on out, not even past December. I'm going to try to live my life as though there's going to be a December 22nd, and as though there's going to be a future. And I'm going to try not to do anything I'm going to regret. And I'm going to try not to hurt myself, and hopefully not hurt anybody else, especially out of fear. Fear, stress, will make you do bad things. I know sometimes it feels like the world is just crushing you. And there is strife constantly. There's always strife. But you have to learn to have courage to live beside strife, to work with strife, to recognize the presence of strife and be willing to deal with it. You have to recognize it, learn to recognize it as a normal part of life. And when you do, it'll help you find balance in your life and help you have a better presence in the world around you and how you deal with the world. When you learn to accept strife, that there will always be strife, and have courage to deal with it. Be careful. You never know there's some wackos out there, and it could get worse. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'm gonna skip the UFOs this time. I'm not gonna really make any predictions or news of the future. I will, except for the UFOs. I'm predicting UFOs for September 3rd, which is Labor Day in the United States and Canada. A possible UFO. Might want to take a look. Could happen the night before and the day after. Also, Halloween, October 31st, could happen the night before and the day after. in the morning after. Thanksgiving, November 22nd, possibly the night before and the morning after. Winter solstice, December 21st, Mayan calendar, possibly 12 hours earlier or 12 hours after. There's a big difference in the way things occur on the planet because of the positioning of the planet in its rotation. Things are a little bit different in different countries as the way the sun rises and so on. If you like my advice, if you like to listen to me blabber, you can, if you like UFO news and predictions, just hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. You can find more of my videos on YouTube by searching Year 3045 on YouTube. I have some poetry on there too. Just search Randy Hoyle Poetry. And if you like poetry, you might like poetry. Now I'm going to talk about, I will talk about the future a little bit now. Currently there are steel mills that use electricity to fire their furnaces. Actually, there are no furnaces. They use electrodes that they put into the ore that melts it. It sends electricity through it, and it's so hot that it melts the ore instead of using coal to fire the furnaces to melt it. It's true. There are steel mills doing that, and one of them is, I know, at least one is in the United States that does that. But they use electricity that is probably made from natural gas instead of coal. So things are changing. People are working out ways to do things differently and finding new ways to do things differently. The future is going to be a wonderful place. I've heard it said that industry and manufacturing is dying in the United States. Yet, from my research, industry and manufacturing production is at 3 times the level as what it was in the 1990s. Here in the United States now, there are 3 times the manufacturing and industrial plants in the United States, nearly 3 times as it was in the 1990s. The problem is they use automation and robots. Automation and robots. They don't hire as many employees. So that means there's fewer jobs for people to have. And if you want a job at one of those plants, you have to know how to do automation. You have to know how to work robots. You have to know how to program. You have to know how to program computers. And people who are out of work don't know how to do those jobs. They need retraining. They need to seek more education. There are businesses that are begging for employees around this country, yet they say no one is qualified to do the jobs. People just don't have the training, the skills. Now, it's obvious that people need to be retrained to do those jobs, or they need new training so they can be employed. Yet there are those in this country who are opposed to government funding of this training. They're opposed to it. They're opposed to community colleges offering training. Why couldn't there be a situation where the government works with churches and private businesses to set up places where people could go and retrain themselves to do the jobs that are available? What is wrong with that? I think it would be a great thing. There's a church I like. It's the Episcopalians. They do wonderful stuff. Why couldn't the government form some kind of a co-op with the Episcopalians, for one, to retrain people, to go to these areas where businesses need workers, but the workers don't have the training, and train them, to fund community colleges to offer this training. Yet there are people who are opposed to the government doing this. They're opposed to the government being involved in helping people get jobs. The country is hurting. People are out of work. Why would someone want to stand against that? I don't understand it. I don't have to tell you who they are. You hear about them every day. Anyway, I believe the future can be a great place. But, you know, education is something that never stops. You have to keep learning constantly. And when you stop learning, that's when you start falling back. That's when you start falling back and getting behind what's going on. There's always something new for you to learn. And if you want to learn, no one can stop you. No one. Well, I want to ask you to work for your dream. Don't just sit on your butt. You have to sweat a little bit. Put some work into making your dream come real. It could be important. It could be important to your world and maybe the world of others as well. So work to turn your dream into a reality. There was a woman who said that anyone who fights for the future lives it today. So fight and work for your future. Work to turn your future into reality. Sometimes it takes baby steps, but if you can get yourself going, you'll surprise yourself with what you can achieve. It just happens step at a time, a step at a time. I'm getting old. Remember that sometimes even when you lose, you can still win if you don't give up your dream. That's a theme from one of my books called The Ballad of Dred Scott. In that book, this theme, and it teaches that sometimes even when you lose, you can still win if you don't give up your dream. I'll give you a blessing. May you always have the freedom to choose the path of reason. And when reason isn't present, may you have the wisdom to know it. May the universe bless you. It is a benevolent place where life is meant to live and where you are meant to prosper and be happy. If it wasn't that way, if the universe wasn't benevolent, you wouldn't be here, and neither would I. Life would not exist. Well, anyway, this part of the universe right here looking at you loves and cares about you. Have a great day.